Welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty. I'm an ADHD coach, mom of four, and my passion is finding ways to tilt that playing field to make my life more ADHD friendly. And I really try to capture what I think would be helpful for the ADHD community and share it here with you each week on ADHD Friendly. If you are listening to this, I invite you to check out the ADHD Friendly YouTube channel if you want to watch for any of the visuals. All right, so we are on episode 170, and if you are a follower of the podcast, you know every 10th episode is a special 10 episode where I focus on personal owner's manuals, something to do with writing, making, adding to your personal owner's manual, also known as a POM. So as always, I will kick it off though with a celebration, and then I will share if I've purchased something this week, which is something I always update just for accountability for what I'm spending money on. And I have a tip this week related to yoga.
Ooh, all right.
And then the topic around our special 10 episode is how to customize to thrive with ADHD, because POMs are all about customization. And then as we wrap up, I will share my book of the week. If you're looking for something to read, I'll be sharing what I've read. All right, so let's start as we do with the celebration. The celebration I'm going to share has to do with my year-long course, the winter, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm tired. Just like literally falling over my words. The winter semester of ADHD-U has kicked off. ADHD-U is my new year-long course rolling out throughout the entire year of 2025. You can drop in anytime. Right now we're in the winter semester. Each semester is a completely standalone semester. And the winter semester is all about planning your best year yet. And we are just starting to really get into it. So there is a blend of on-demand courses or lessons, I should say, in the course that you can just go and watch at your leisure. And then there are live workshops and power hour sessions throughout. And we have a couple coming up still this month, so it is not too late to join. If you want to check it out, I invite you to visit ADHD-friendly.com for more information. All right, that was my celebration that I've launched it. We're in it. And I have the entire first month done, and I'm well into the second month because I'm creating as we go through. I've been pulling information for so long, but now by using the accountability of committing to doing it and the members participating in it, it creates so much urgency that I am fully in it right now. And it's really been a lot of fun to see it come together. So I hope you'll join us in making this our most ADHD friendly and best year yet. Woo. All right, what I purchased this week. You haven't seen it, I don't think, but I've got my new folders, those hanging folders for it's how I keep the podcast episodes in a nice system that I can find what I want, even though I keep some records online. I always have my physical notes that I hold, and it helps me when I'm trying to remember details of past episodes. I grab this much more easier for me to find than something on my computer. And so I had to get the new hanging folders for this year. So I ordered those, which feels like a big win because last year it took me a while to find them. So this year I had saved the ones that I bought. They were a little bit more expensive, like whatever, but I just went and got what I needed without hemming and hawing and trying to find an alternative. I just ordered it and I got them. And the other thing I did was I ordered, they're not here yet, but I realized it's super cold here right now, guys. Like we are in full January.
It's like what, 20 degrees?
It is for a high.
It's cold. It's freezing.
And it's not going to go above freezing the temperature for at least the next like 10 days.
Yeah, for at least a week and a half.
That's it. Like the highest temperature is like 20 for the next like 7 to 10 days. So
what'd you get?
I ordered 3 new sweaters because I realized I was looking at some old pictures over the holidays with my family. And some of the sweaters I've been wearing, I didn't remember that they are like 5 years old. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't buy a lot of like, especially sweaters. I feel like I have a lot, but I have a lot I never wear.
Sure.
So I thought, okay, I need to this year allow myself to purge the ones that I'm just holding on to that tell me I have a lot. So I don't have to wear the same things every day. Well, especially when I get this kind of a stretch. And here's the fun thing, because it's January, all of the stores are doing their spring push. So everything's on sale. So I ordered, they're not here yet.
Ooh.
You might see them on a upcoming podcast. But I ordered 3 sweaters that were on clearance at Sam's Club, and they're like Gap and
Like good quality.
Yeah. Well, I hope. All three of them were $45.
Nice.
I hope I like them. We'll see.
I hope so
It's a
too.
fabulous deal if I get them and I
Yeah.
like them. But even if I live like one of them
Right. One more
on an
sweater.
average of $15 each,
Yeah.
it's
How can
okay.
you not?
So that's what I got.
Ooh, that's exciting and smart because yeah, there's all those sales going
Oh my
on.
gosh. It's one of my favorite things about living in the Chicago
Yeah.
area is all of the stores do their clearance. In Raleigh, it used to be like, okay, winter is on clearance, but you still could wear some like warmer things.
Sure.
It just wasn't like here. It's like winter is going on clearance and it's at the time when you really full on need the winter.
Yeah.
So I get great deals on boots and sweaters and I haven't bought sweaters in a while apparently, but I bought cardigans, but I haven't bought pullover sweaters. So
Pullovers. Yeah.
yes, to clarify. Okay. All right. So now on to my tip for this episode 170. And that is I've shared how I do my yoga every morning and I'm still checking the box. Haven't missed a day of my Monday through Thursday plan yet. I think I'm finishing up week 170.
Nice.
If I'm not on 170, I'm knocking on the door of 170. And I've shared that I have found yoga with Adriene to be the ADHD friendly approach that worked for me. And what I'm going to highlight here is why that has worked so beautifully for me and how I'm bringing it into this tip. It's almost like the be kind to yourself tip. And the language, even though yoga with Adriene is not specifically geared towards people with ADHD, I do find it very welcoming and accepting and non-judgmental, which I've shared. I've done yoga in a class before. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about a painful hour. I can still feel the physical impact of that. I can't even say the hated word strongly enough. Like it was so horrible. I am so triggered by it. Like there's no friggin' way I'm going back into a yoga class, but I can do yoga on my own.
Yeah, you can.
Because, and that was something I didn't think I'd ever be able to do because I need the accountability. But I use that experience of, well, if you can't do it on your own, you're going to have to find a class and join it. And I was like, I got to find something. So she is non-judgmental. She uses language that supports where you are and normalizes it. So there's no like, okay, well, if you can't do this, maybe you should do more. She'll just say, maybe you're here, or maybe you're here, or maybe you're just here. Wherever you are is where you are. Work from there without I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, Adriene. But she's also really good at giving modifications to whatever the pose is that she's doing. So she'll say, okay, so if this isn't available to you, maybe you want to go to child's pose, or maybe you want to do like, she'll just give you an alternate that it makes it, she's like, and then wherever you are, we're all going to meet in downward dog, or wherever you are, we're going to meet here. So she gives you these alternatives real time, and she'll usually even do them to kind of remind you of what that pose is. And it's just so lovely that it just invites you in. It feels very much like you can be where you are. And then she'll slip in a little like, and then, you're going to push up to plank. And I want you to whisper to yourself. And I used to not say it because it felt so silly. But now I'm like, I'm like, I am powerful. I am powerful. And that's been, kind of an arc of my own little progress map that I'm noticing. So some language that she uses are, I just have like a couple of bullet points. She says, maybe you may be here, or you may be here, or maybe you're even here. Or she'll say, maybe your hands will touch the mat, or maybe you want to bring the earth up to you by using a block or a book. So I love that because I have never been flexible. I always say, like, even when I was a kid, I tried for months to do a split. I couldn't do it. There are certain things that my body just has not allowed me. And I guess I didn't have somebody coming up behind me to push me down to make me do a split. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh.
That's a trauma right there.
I have the I am powerful that she'll have you whisper from time to time. She'll always say, breathe lots of love in, breathe lots of love out. And I love that because it's like, you're not just taking, you're also giving. And so it's this real kind of centering and grounding sense that I get when she says that. And she'll say, today, maybe you're here, maybe tomorrow or in the future, you might be here, maybe not. Like she just is always wherever you are is where you are. Or like I said before, she'll say another option is. So she'll say, maybe you want to sit with your legs in a cross position. If that isn't available to you, maybe you want to try this. She just, is very normalizing of wherever you are is okay. Accept it and do what you can from where you are with what you have. So that's my tip. Use the yoga with Adriene approach in your life where you need it to accept where you are and allow yourself to build from there instead of judging that you should be here
Yeah.
and then staying here because you're not allowing yourself to meet yourself where you are. Meet yourself where you are. Okay. Now for our topic. Again, this is a special 10 personal owner's manual focused topic, and that's customizing to thrive with ADHD. So the P in POM is personal. It's all about personalizing, customizing, making it specific to what you need to thrive. Any tool that you have in your personal owner's manual has to be customized. I have lots of tools. Go to visit my website. I have some free tools and resources. You can sign up for my mini POM, which comes with 3 tools ready to go. They may work as they are, but I guarantee you if you tweak them even a little bit because you notice something would work better if you did blank, it will work eons beyond where it would work if you just take the template. Templates are a great jumping off point. They are not the ending point. They are the place to start. I always say we do better without a blank slate, without a blank page. That's why I give you templates, but I want you to take them and make them yours. I am constantly tweaking my tools, noticing, oh, I like that, but I'd like this line to be a little bit closer. I want more space to write. I want the font bigger. I want the font a different color. I started making my list for my new winter course, and I realized there was so many things that I have to do. I made a new checklist.
Ooh, there you go.
I printed it 4 times before because every time I went to write on it, it was in the
You're like,
action of using it.
Yeah.
And this is what I know about me. I won't know if it works for me until I start it.
Yeah.
And so I have to give myself permission to, that's why I always say, I like paper clips. I need to print it and get into using it. And so the first time I went to use it, I realized I wanted check boxes and I just had bullet points. I'm like, no, I need check boxes. Did it with check boxes. The next time I went to use it, I realized it was black ink and I wanted a different color because everything I was printing for my course that I was using looked exactly the same. I'm like, this is going to get lost in the pile of my course materials. I need it to look different. So I changed the color of the checklist. And then I realized when I started the checklist itself that I had categories that were too broad. So I had make slides. So I was like, well, I can't just make the slides. I have to do the outline first. I have to, so it really helped me to hone in on a checklist that was very functional and it was very satisfying to use it over the January material. I now have everything checked off.
Yay.
It's very satisfying. And so now I just have a note to make the one that, for each successive month that will help me to use it. So customizing what it's all about. So take the tool templates, allow yourself to start and just notice what you would change to make it work better for you. We need to lean into customization, not fight it. So I wanted to share one more example about that with calendars and planners. My daughter just made me so stinking happy. She's in her sophomore year of college, and she's taking an extra class this semester with a lab. And it was just enough. Now I have to say, this is her 4th semester of college, and she has resisted any prompt, any offer of a planner.
Yes.
She has a semester calendar that I'll update the dates for because she will not write them in there. And then she'll just write down like due dates on it.
Yeah.
But she has resisted any kind of planner. To write things on. She's been kind of just like adding them to a note in her phone if she has to do something, which can work really well.
Yeah.
But she came to me and she told me that she was feeling overwhelmed with how she was going to use that to keep up. She just felt like there was gonna be too much to keep up with because it's 5 classes and a lab. And if you take a lab is like an extra course. So it's like taking 6 classes. So she asked me if we could go planner shopping, which we did yesterday. And I have to say that probably should have been like one of my wins. It felt so sparkly. But I took out my planner bin and showed her planners, which is what I used to do in my physical office when I used to meet with clients in person when I was in North Carolina, because it's very important, again, to pick not the perfect planner, there's no such thing, but the layout that works best for you. And I thought I could share that really most easily with my Panda Planner example. And I'm going to share the larger layout. So that comes in 2 different layouts, the junior size and the full size. They both have the same material inside. Cute. I know, right? And they have these nice little wraps to keep it shut. It has a nice little ribbon. It has 3 of them, so you can mark the page that you're on. It has a lot of things going for it. It has a nice feel to it. It opens pretty flat. So I hate planners that kind of stay like this and you're trying to fight it to write in it. And it has a week and a day layout. So the week layout looks like this. And it has prompts that can really help you to hone in on what are your goals this week? What were your wins from last week? What are the projects you're working on? So that's nice to kind of do like a week review and a week check-in. And then it has the daily plan, which again, it asks you, what are you grateful for? Today I will be great because what you're going to do for exercise, what your focus area is, what your schedule is, what your priorities are, tasks that you want to check off, end of day review to note what worked and what didn't work. I have had multiple clients tell me, not specifically about this one, I've only had a couple use this specific planner, but the all or nothing will get in the way for ADHD brains.
Sure.
If it feels like you have to fill in every answer and it's not sustainable, we won't use it. Allow yourself, cross off the sections or cover it up with a Post-it note if you don't want to use that. Or take the format that you like and tweak it, we all have access to computers and being able to make something and print it here. If you don't have don't come here, but you know what I mean. Print it if you have a printer at home. If you don't have a printer at home, you can go to your local library, Kinko's, Office Max, whatever, and have something printed if you want to try it out and make it yours. But what I wanted to highlight is, if you like the prompts, if you like the structure, this could be something sparkly to try. If you see this and it shuts you down, that's not where you want. You want something pulling you in so that you can experiment and then change it as you notice what you like and don't like about it. Calendars, planners are great places to experiment. And what I found really interesting was I forgot that I used the mini one for about a year. I had like, I'm not kidding. Like I have filled all of these in over the course of, I think I filled in pretty much to the end. I liked a lot about it. I'm surprised I stuck with it for the year, to be perfectly honest. But if you look at it, you'll see like I filled in the top review, I filled in the end review. I stopped using the time planner and the priorities list.
Yeah.
I remember I used I had like a spiral steno notebook for that. And I had like my regular planner. So I had a few things going on, but I liked the prompts to check in. And it was interesting because I was preparing for this podcast. I thought, well, maybe there's something in these prompts that I'm going to want to use.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting, it was literally just a thought when I grabbed this. So I'm like, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that, but it was something I was surprised. I forgot I stuck with it as long as I did. So there might be something in there that I can borrow. So I just want you to lean into customization. I'm going to give you a couple more examples, just bullet points. Customize your morning routine. Maybe you're like learning what somebody else did and you're like, I want to do that. Great. But if something in it doesn't work, change it. Customize how you start. I think of it as like setting the stage. If I come in my office and sit at my desk, I will start.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. If I think about starting anywhere else in my house,
not happening.
No, I have to just come sit. And even if I don't have a plan, it will jumpstart me into starting. So notice what gets you started. Use a decision matrix to help you make decisions. But that, again, what that looks like is very individual. Google examples of it and then just see what's sparkly to you and start. Explore if you need like accommodations in the workplace, if that's something that you would be able to do, kind of thrive at work with. If you had a couple of tweaks, what would that be? And how could you explore implementing that? Maybe it's self-care, but talked a lot about how that's very customized, very individual, allowing yourself to do what works for you. The transition time. All of us with ADHD from time to time, if not all the time, struggle with transitions. It can be a really hard thing to start. And then once we start, we have a hard time stopping. So maybe just looking for strategies that you write down to help you to kind of like dial it down and unwind, to transition from work mindset to homework set, to transition from home to work.
Yeah.
I remember like I used to have a long commute when I was a teacher, and then we moved to a house that was like 2 miles from the school I was teaching in.
Oh, nice.
And I remember I got to school and I was like not at all mentally ready to be at school.
Right.
And I realized I had to do something to give me more of a commute in my mind so that I was mentally ready.
Yeah.
That transition wasn't long enough anymore. So notice what you need to manage the transition that's customized for you, and customize your goals. We are in the time of goal setting. It's a
Yeah.
very common thing. If goals don't work for you, change the name of it. What are your intentions? What are your aims? If that's a easier way in for you. Or maybe it's just allowing yourself to make a mind map of things that you would like to accomplish this week, this month, whatever works. Maybe a year is too long to stretch yourself and you just want to have a prompt that's going to work for you for now. Remember, a POM works because it's literally the vessel that holds your customized tools. So if you don't have a POM yet, check out ADHD Friendly for ideas of ways to create yours, or join the ADHD Friendly membership. The POM course is recorded and in there. You can access it. It's on demand anytime. It has all of the tools that are shared in the course included. It's all included in the membership. Check it out. You can join for a month and cancel. It's a lot less expensive than taking the POM course on its own. The planner course is in there with all of my custom tools that you can take and customize yourself. I invite you to check it out at ADHDfriendly.com if you are looking for things that you can take and customize to make them yours. All right, this week's book of the week. This is a new book. I noticed when I was at Target the other day with my daughter, it's on like the bestsellers, like #1. I don't know if it is, and I don't know exactly when it came out. I didn't realize it was brand new, but I read Stephen King's pretty new book. I didn't look up the date it came
Holly.
out. It's Holly, and she is actually a character that I'm going to read you this tiny little excerpt from it. So it says, Holly Gibney is one of Stephen King's most compelling and resourceful characters. She returns in this chilling new book as she uncovers the truth behind multiple disappearances in a Midwestern town. When I realized that he was writing a separate book all about her, I was so excited because I read his Mr. Mercedes series, which is what when I first got to know Holly. She's kind of a quirky character, kind of very blunt, doesn't read cues at all. I really, really enjoyed her. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, I like Stephen King books that stay in the realm of possibility. So I'm not a huge fan of his books that go into the fantasy supernatural element. This is more about elderly serial killers.
Ooh.
So it was very interesting, but it never went into kind of it was a bit gory, very Stephen King like that, but it didn't go into like super smart dogs or you know what I mean? Like it didn't go into like the things. Like I like Misery, I like The Shining. I like things that are like scary because you can see it happening.
Yeah.
And this was definitely along those lines. And I have my quote for the week from Holly, the character that this book is based on. Holly says, holder honors, so like people that hold on to things, are never able to understand let goers. She's so funny. She says there are tribes that just can't understand each other.
Yeah.
So if you are a holder honor, meaning that you can't let go of things, you can't understand people that are like minimalists and let go of things, and the true is vice versa. If you can't help understand why people would have all of this stuff around them, you can't understand that because you let go of things really easily. That's not your challenge. So that just cracked me up because I've never heard it described that way. And a lot of us with ADHD tend to be holder honors, but I also know some of us can be let goers because we just know it's like a slippery slope. So it's like, no, I have a hard rule, one in, one out, kind of thing. But a lot of us do struggle with stuff. So that I thought was a very sparkly way of looking at it and understanding that just because you don't do the way other people do, they also don't probably understand the way that you do. It's just, that perspective taking can be really hard. So that's it for this episode 170. As always, take what works for you, leave the rest behind, and we will see you next time. Until then, tally ho.